Blame Truth here, and this has been my Twitter mentions anytime I just show Call of Duty data and show that it's not doing that well. I deal with these people day in and day out, and all I do is just share, like, data, you know? They get so butthurt, I don't know why, but if you guys could like this video, because I want this video to get seen by as many people as possible, whether it makes the Call of Duty community butthurt or not, I want people to know the truth. So let's get to the bottom of this with our detective hats on, while you watch some Helldivers 2 gameplay. So the Call of Duty player count, the actual live amount of players, it's been a point of contention for a while because we don't have the hard data anymore. The only hard data we have is from Steam charts, which Steam makes them do that. Otherwise, it's just been in secret for the past decade, pretty much. Call of Duty Ghosts came out, it didn't do well at all, and I guess they tucked their tail and just hid the numbers from us from then on out. They had some mishaps over the years. I recall seeing Black Ops 3 leaked the player count for a few days due to some update that broke something, and the player count was like made live, and then they quickly took that away. Again, they're trying to purposely hide it. It's not even up for debate at this point, right? But see, we're thinking people. We're thinking men. We get to the bottom of things here on Blame Truth, the Codfather YouTube channel. And I just wanted to compile all this information so you guys could have it here. So currently, as of March 13th, 2024, Call of Duty, and I mean Call of Duty as a whole on Steam, which is the only metric we can track, and we're gonna get into how much of the player base Steam actually is in just a second, because we have a rough estimate of that now, thanks to Sub1KD doing a lot of math. But anyway, Call of Duty, which is Modern Warfare 3, Modern Warfare 2, and Warzone, a free-to-play client, keep that in mind, currently is sitting at a deficit of around 26%, over 26% as of today of the player base have left since the peak in December. Really not good, really not good. And this goes by average player numbers, so it's not a monthly active user thing, which they will throw in our faces. It's not a daily active user thing, which, again, it just counts people that log on. They could play for 5 minutes. I don't think that's a very good metric of success, but whatever. Regardless, they've lost over 26% of the player base since the peak in December. And to make matters worse, I'm not even dressing this up, to make matters worse, this is already after a huge decline from last year. So last year, Modern Warfare 2 and Warzone 2 dropped at the same time, got a huge boost of players, nearly 500,000 concurrent players on Steam alone, and then they quickly fell off in the months after that. They lost a ton. They've never really recovered from that, if I'm being honest. And although these numbers, these deficits percentage-wise are greater, they've actually lost more players since then. Like we're sitting lower in March of this year than we were last year, and that's with an extra game thrown in with Modern Warfare 2. No matter how you want to slice it, you could say they're making money hand over fist with their $30 bundles, marketing their shit to slow kids and 60-year-old dads in front of 60-inch TVs. That's fine, right? You could say that, but selling out your player base for money is not a sustainable business model. If players keep leaving, but they keep making more money, one of those numbers has to give, and I'd be willing to bet that the money will stop coming in when the player count gets low enough. Now, you might be saying, like, well, it's just Steam, man. And I've seen tons of people try to defend this, saying, like, PC's the lowest player count or whatever, but that's objectively not true. From what I understand, and Kotick said this under oath, Call of Duty has its biggest player base on mobile, and then PC, and then PlayStation, and then Xbox, and that's how it goes. So Steam right now, from what we understand from Sub1KD's video, which I will link below, but I'll just show you like a little discussion I had with him, too long didn't read version. Basically, Steam represents about 9 to 12% of the Call of Duty player base. How accurate this math is, you guys can be the judge. I will leave the full video he did. I mean, it was a lot of stuff. I'm sure there's a lot of wiggle room there, up and down. But for prosperity's sake, for the video's sake, let's just assume that Steam represents 10%, just a lowly 10% of the Call of Duty player base. And I'm assuming, it's been a minute since I've watched the video, but I'm pretty sure he has separated Call of Duty Mobile from that statistic. So this is the console, or the full release, the $70 version, and standard Warzone in this metric. The mobile aspect of it makes everything really confusing, and for mobile to be that high, quick segue, for mobile to be that high, I mean, I'm not saying they're lying, I'm just saying that's a little fishy, because I personally have never seen a motherfucker playing no goddamn Call of Duty Mobile, and if I did, I'd probably slap the phone out of their hand, because what are you doing outside, like in a public setting playing Call of Duty Mobile, you fucking loser. Anyway, let's get back into the meat and potatoes here. If we actually go back and look at the concurrent players right now for Call of Duty on Steam, what is this? 75,000 playing 12 minutes ago, and this was screenshotted, you know, about an hour ago, about 2 p.m. EST on I believe this is a Wednesday. So we can assume 750,000 players worldwide on not just the new Call of Duty, not just Modern Warfare 3, not just Modern Warfare 2, but Warzone, a free-to-play client. Guys, I am very, very sorry. That is not that good. That's just not that good any way you want to slice it. Yes, they may have way more daily active users logging in and playing for 10 minutes or whatever than getting pissed off and hopping off. Maybe that's what they want. Maybe that's all they care about, and that's fine. But active player numbers, I think, are the healthiest metric to judge an actual game's quality and player engagement. Tell me when I'm telling lies. Active players, if that stays steady or goes up or whatever, I mean, that's a really good thing for any game, I think. But see, this isn't all. This is an assumption, but a year ago, the live player counts for not just Warzone, but the newest Call of Duty, Modern Warfare 2, and Call of Duty Mobile leaked out. Now, this didn't really go anywhere. I covered it in a video. Tom Henderson put it on his website, Insider Gaming, but it never really gained a lot of traction. It looked fairly accurate. I mean, it wasn't like, it just didn't seem like it was nefarious, and I don't see why anyone would lie about the player numbers. But let me just kind of give you guys some context, because this happened a year ago, and I gotta throw Charlie Intel under the bus here, and I'm sorry, I'm calling it like I see it, but even when he tweeted this out, I was pretty pissed off about it. A museum in Spain is claiming to have player count numbers for Modern Warfare 2, Warzone 2, and Mobile, but it appears those numbers are not official, nor even close to accurate. How would Charlie Intel know they're not close to accurate? That doesn't make sense. How would he know they're not official unless he is in bed with Activision? And that's something I pointed out over a year ago when he tweeted this on January 27th, 2023. Activision doesn't share player count specifically for games anymore to anyone, but that's not entirely true. They are forced to share it with Steam, and they are forced to share it, you know, with their shareholders or whatever, showing daily, monthly active users, whatever. I believe that's quarterly they do that. So that's not entirely true. They don't show it in game anymore. That doesn't mean they don't show it to people that are partnered with them or shareholders or whatever. So let me just show you guys what I'm talking about here so you can see that it's an actual graphic made by someone, like, you know, with some graphic design skills and stuff like that, showing the player counts here. It doesn't make sense why this would be faked. This was on Insider Gaming. The article is still up, actually, but this was posted on Insider Gaming about a year ago. A new museum in Malaga, Spain, named the OXO Museum, has revealed actual player numbers for Call of Duty for the first time in years. An image sent to Insider Gaming by Flex Z, who attended the grand opening of the OXO Museum yesterday, shows the live player numbers for Warzone 2, Modern Warfare 2, and Call of Duty Mobile. And calling it just a museum is a little disingenuous, but I'll get to that in just a second. Let's actually look at the numbers here. And if you can't see the graphic, it's summarized in this tweet here. Let me pull this up for myself so I can see. Activision publishes the number of active players on all platforms directly in an event in Spain, which reached 1,104,383 players yesterday. 424,000 players in Warzone 2, 184,000 players in Modern Warfare 2, and 406,000 players in Call of Duty Mobile. Now, this all is a little weird. Like, seeing this just out of the blue, it'd be like, wow, this can't be official. So maybe that's what Charlie Intel meant. But it sounds to me, honestly, like he's a bit butthurt that the game's numbers aren't really that impressive in the grand scheme of things. And just to show you guys here, Codex said under oath, mobile's leading the pack here with their daily active users, followed by PC with 17.5 million, followed by PlayStation, followed by Xbox. So the Steam charts are a pretty accurate representation of the player base possibly the lack of player retention, I should say. I think that Steam charts, it's the only thing we can track, but I really do think that with some deductive reasoning, we have found the actual player numbers, especially with this leak that was discredited. And again, people calling it just a museum in Spain is disingenuous. If you go to the OXO website, it is a gaming museum. Playing with the past, exploring the future. Welcome to the Video Game Museum. You can buy tickets and tour it. It's an actual legit place. I took this screenshot just, 10 minutes ago or whatever during this commentary during a break period. So it's a real place and it has some prestige to it. I don't know what to tell you guys other than let's go back to that actual metric here and really do a deep dive on it. So the image was taken at 7 p.m. GMT, which would be around 3 p.m. EST, around the time I'm making this video actually, and screenshotted the player numbers on Steam. It appears that 424,000 people were playing Warzone 2 and 184,000 were playing Modern Warfare 2, with 406,000 playing COD Mobile. So again, that's with COD Mobile thrown in. Without COD Mobile, that's only 600,000 at 3 p.m. What can we deduce from this if this is a legit metric? Now, if we take a look at the Steam charts last year, around that time, when was this, January? Around that time, the average concurrent players on Steam was around 102,000. That was the average. It would go up, it would go down, but that was the average. Multiply that by 10, the average players, you get about 1 million, because 10%, roughly the Steam player base, 10%. And if you go back and you look at the non-peak time frame of like those average players, it's gonna dip below that average. So it's gonna be like 60, 70, 80,000 players. So if Steam charts represents 9 to 12%, I'd say it's actually around 12%, maybe a bit more, based on this data. If we are taking this data as factual, and I don't really see a reason not to take it as factual because it matches so closely, then Steam probably represents 12, maybe even 15% of the player base, because Kotick, again, under oath, said, hey, PC is the second most played platform behind mobile. Since Modern Warfare 3 and Warzone 3, if you want to call it that, are doing worse player retention-wise than Modern Warfare 2, we got to assume that the actual player percentage on Steam, about 12 to 15. I'd say it's more about 12 to 15 than 9 to 12 based on this particular data. If you want to go by the live player count that leaked, I think that's a fair assumption. And I think all that math checks out. You guys can double, triple check if you want. But I'd say roughly, Steam, we got to say like, I'll even put it on the lower end. We'll say 12% of the player base, I don't know. And that could have changed from last year. It could go up, it could go down. But the main point I want to get across here is that on Steam, which is the only metric we can track, Call of Duty has lost over 25% of its player base. And that is not a good look, no matter how you want to slice it. Yeah, they want to sell you a game every year. They want to hype up new content every season just to have you log on and you're like a daily active user or whatever. That looks good for the shareholders and whatnot. But compared to the games of the past and the player counts I've seen when they actually, had the balls to show it, you could see nearly 3 million players here of Black Ops 1. This is taken 2 years after launch of Black Ops 2. 296,000 players just on Xbox 360 alone. They may be making more money than ever with their current business model, their current MTX business model and whatnot. Call of Duty Mobile, Warzone Mobile's launching, and that's fine. But the player retention, actually getting players to stick with their game and play it, it's night and day compared to what it used to be. And maybe you don't take the Museum in Spain player count leak seriously. At least watch Sub1KD's video on the matter on Steam player numbers or whatever, because again, it's like 9 to 12% from his math with the data we have, and I have no reason to doubt the data we have from the Spain Gaming Museum, which is still going today, a year later. It's a legit place with prestige. Why would they lie about something as random as like the Warzone Call of Duty mobile player counts or whatever? It doesn't make any sense that they would lie about it. If something comes out and like Activision doesn't speak on it because they are known to hide things, then that should be a dead giveaway straight away that it's probably legit. Did they ever verify leaked things that come out? No. And then they come out. I'm not even making that up. It's not a conspiracy theory. Like, that's how they operate. Their silence is admission at this point. And I think we actually have, finally, a relatively accurate player count for the games as a whole. Now, you might be asking yourself, well, if the Call of Duty mobile player base makes up so many of the players, why is that number concurrently lower than Warzone 2, for example, at the time? And the only thing I can really think of there is that mobile gamers will hop on and hop off way quicker. They might play while they're on the toilet or something, or on the bus, or taking a cab, an Uber, whatever. And they're not as committed to staying on the game. So you're gonna see a lot different, a lot more different IPs logging onto that. You can kind of play it anywhere, so it's not something you play like you play a console game or Warzone on PC or whatever. Either that or Activision's doing something more nefarious with the numbers. Maybe they're loading the game on dummy phones from China or something to make their numbers look better than they actually are. Who actually knows? I'm gonna go with the former for now. I'm not gonna go with full-blown conspiracy theory with it, but guys, there's the video. I truly do think that those player leaks from Spain are legit. I mean, I don't see how they couldn't be legit. I don't see the purpose of lying about something like that. And to Charlie Intel and everyone else that said, like, hey, they're bogus, they're unfounded, they're not official, like, I don't know, man. I think you need to go back and apologize for that. I think this needs to be brought up to people that said that. And I want you guys to kind of like take note of the people that said that, because I just wouldn't really trust them. I aim to find the truth. I just want to find the hard data, the hard numbers. I report on the hard data. I truly do think that the Spain player count leaks were legit, and I think they fall in line pretty closely to all the painstaking math Sub 1 KD had to do to find out like what divide is the Steam charts player count, Let me know your thoughts, guys. If I messed up along the way, let me know and I'll correct it in the comment section below. I will leave all of the sources I used in the comment section below in the pinned comment, and hope you guys enjoyed. Again, rate this video. I would like as many eyes on it as possible so that when I reference Steam charts, we know that it's like roughly anywhere from 10 to 15% of the player base. But that's not even really what I'm showing. I'm showing the downtrend. And if you guys think that the downtrend isn't similar with other platforms like PlayStation, like Xbox, I mean, I don't really know what to tell you other than I've been playing Call of Duty on console for a long time. The numbers always dip after a new game, but I've never seen them dip as fast as we've seen them dip these last 2 years when we can actually track it again. It's bad. It's really bad, especially considering we have a free-to-play client thrown into the mix. I don't really know what to make of it other than I hope they are making their money by the billions. They found a way to, while losing players, make more money than ever. It's actually impressive. It's actually impressive that instead of just making a good game, which would do it, they do all these other things and put in casino-based matchmaking and manipulate their user base and charge them $30 or $10 more per game, per bundle, whatever. Yeah, it's impressive. It really is. I'm out of time though, guys. I hope you found this informative, and I'll catch you later. Peace.
Here's some parting advice.